Thank you all very much for allowing me to be here. And my name is Dr. Corey King. My pronouns are he and him. And I am appreciative of some of our legislators who are here, our faculty, staff, our students who are here, as well as other community leaders. Some of you are alums of our great institution. Some of you worked at our institution. Some of you still work at our institution. But either way, some of you are connected in so many different ways to this great university. I normally, when I go into campus and I'm there first thing in the morning, I always say happy something, happy Monday, happy Tuesday, because for me, I'm always in a place that if I'm up and breathing, that's a good thing, and I should be happy in that space, right, and an opportunity to continue to serve. And so today is Thursday at our institution, but it's for me, happy Friday Eve is what I call Thursday, so just for you all in the future there. So I want to talk about this great university. I am excited to say that in just a couple of weeks, I will begin my third year at this great institution. So I am excited about that as we continue to move forward. So our institution has a focus in terms of our commitment to student success. So when you talk about who we are as an institution, at the end of the day, the primary focus of what we do is to make sure that every student walks away with a credential. They walk away with a degree. And so we have three plans. If anyone asks you, what is the plan of the university? We have three plans. We have a strategic plan that runs from 2023 to 2028, our academic plan, and our budget plan. Our strategic plan, which is also helped guided by our governance groups. We have faculty governance, we have the staff governance, we have student governance. And they all help guide the conversations around our strategic plan, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in our priorities. We do have an academic plan that is guided by our faculty with the assistance of our provosts and our academic deans. And so we really look to our faculty to guide that academic plan in our academic portfolio, which means the degree programs and certifications that we offer at the university. And then we have the budget plan, which talks about our cash flow. And so within those plans, we have institutional priorities. One is our enrollment growth. Our university right now, you'll see a number up there in just a moment, but about 11,752 students are currently at our institution, and that is both on the Whitewater and the Rock County campus. We are committed to both of those campuses. At Whitewater, it's about a little over 11,000 students, and our URock campus, I'm proud to say, is right over 700 students, and so we are in good spaces in both of those areas. Increased retention is also important for us, and over the past 18 months, we've gone from a 73% retention, which is the first to second year, to 78 retention rate. So that's 5 percentages in just 18 months. And that's because of the incredible faculty, staff, and students that we have, and all of us leaning into the importance that a student continuing and persistent in graduating is our top priority. We also focus on employee compensation, and there are 2 pathways in our focus on that. We are very, very grateful to the legislature that just approved the last biennium, the last 2 years, a pay plan of 4 and 2, which meant that our faculty and staff got a 4% increase the first year and a 2% increase the second year. It is my hope in the next biennium that our legislature will lean in and we'll be at a 3% increase, where our faculty and staff will get a 5% increase the first year and a 3% the second year. And then our campus investments are things that we are looking to in order to continue to improve our campus community. One of those investments, of course, is the Winthrop-Heide project. If you haven't heard about Winthrop-Heide, Winthrop Hall is our College of Education and Professional Studies. It also is joint in with Heide, which primarily houses communication and other of our disciplines there. Those 2 projects alone is costing about $100 million. We have looked to the legislature, who has given us the first round, the second round, the third round of approvals in that process, and it is my hope that tomorrow the State Building Commission will put the final touches on the approval process, and then we can say hallelujah, right? We're at that point, everything is approved, and a $100 million investment in our campus will be for those two entities. Our enrollment goals are in three spaces. One is our students. We, again, are 11,752. You'll see that number again. In order for us to be sustainable, especially in terms of who we are as a regional comprehensive university and in terms of our budget, we have to meet 13,000 students headcount, 10,000 students FTE. 10,000 students FTE means that 10,000 of our students must have 12 credits or more in order for us to continue to be a vibrant institution, and we got to reach 82% of our retention. That means when a student comes to us the first year, we have to do everything in our power to make sure they come back the second year. That 82% retention tells us that if a student comes back the second year, more than likely they will come back year 3 and 4 and graduate. So some things about our institution. Number one, we are the top business school in Wisconsin.
Whoa.
All right, just for everybody to know that. All right, not Madison, sorry, I had to say that, right? But we are the top business school in Wisconsin. We are also the top school in Wisconsin because we have the most licensed teachers in the state. So education, and that's important to us. We have the number one there as well. 98.4% of our students who graduate within the first year are either in employment or in graduate school. 98.4%. That's a great place to be. And we are the most affordable of the regional comprehensives in the University of Wisconsin system. We are the most affordable. And what I am very proud of is with our faculty, our staff, and our students, but especially our alumni and donors, we get about $2.5 million annually from that donation space in order to give scholarships and faculty development grants to our students and our faculty. Some other numbers that are important, you got the enrollment there, you're going to keep hearing it, 11,752. I know it, I sleep with it, I wake up with it. That number is important to me as we grow in our spaces. We have first-generation college students. We have 3,672 first-generation college students. That means that none of their parents have gone to college. None of their parents have graduated from college. They are the first to go to college and to graduate. We have 340 veterans on our campus and their families that we serve as well. 1,300 plus of our students are part of our Center for Students with Disabilities. We serve 1,300 students. That is a trademark in our primary mission as UW-Whitewater. So we are excited about that number. And if you haven't been on our campus, there are many spaces related to ADA that we have excelled in, and we are number one in terms of the universities of Wisconsin. We award annually about 2,600 degrees. You see the number of majors there as well. We have 108,000 plus alums, and this number just came out a couple of days ago. I am excited to share that of our university and our alumni, a $1.4 billion economic impact happens from the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater.
Wow.
Just some other numbers. People know about our summer camps and conferences. We are number one in the state in terms of our summer camps and conferences program. 5,700 plus students come to our camps in the summer. We generate about $2.5 million in that space for students that come over 39 states to Whitewater to participate in our summer conferences. We also have Division III athletics. We have 597, almost 600 student athletes on our campus. 10 are in men's sports and 12 are in women's sports. We have 180 student organizations that are entwined into our students' activities and co-curricular events, and 4,000 plus students live on campus. And so with that, I thought, when I was growing up, the first thing I learned in kindergarten was show and tell, right? And I don't know if I know it, but show and tell is where I learned kindergarten, right? And I was a middle school math teacher for a moment. So I'm going to end here with the video, and then we'll go ahead and take some questions. And so, oh, he said, wait a minute.
Questions, anybody?
Well, I'm hoping that video would do what it needs to do. It was working just earlier, so. All right, there we go.
Being Warhawk bold, I'd say when I first heard it, the first thing that I could think of was just being courageous enough to get out of your comfort zone, take some risks.
Being willing to, do something even if you're not sure how it'll turn out.
Being able to achieve your dreams and having that motivation to go out of your way and set a goal in mind and pushing yourself to that limit.
I think it means like being involved on campus with orgs and being welcoming to other students.
To care about your community and helping each other grow and sharing your knowledge with each other.
Being a leader so you can make a difference in the campus through your orgs and outside.
Being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So I think just being bold goes along with that. You want to have some rough spots that can make you who you are.
Even if it seems like I'm in college, I might not be able to achieve that, just giving it your all and seeing what you can do.
Be out there, you have a personality, everyone does, so it's just be proud of yourself, but really it's just outside of the community. When people ask me, oh, where do you go? I'm just like, I go to Whitewater.
Perkins Stadium is a lot different than every D3 stadium. When you have people right behind you cheering for you, you can't help but to feel good and feel strong.
we have an incredible university marketing communications team and give them all credit. I did want to note one more thing in that beautiful video, and that is just recently the Wall Street Journal named UW-Whitewater #1 in Wisconsin for the student experience. And so again, another great accomplishment from the Wall Street Journal. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions.
Okay. This is more of a comment, but I'm personally grateful for the students at Whitewater who come to Fairhaven every year and help with the residents there. They volunteer and do activities with them, and even their speech therapy students came and did memory lessons with my dad when he was at Hearthstone in memory care. So
That's
I'm just
fantastic.
really proud of the work of the students there. They provide an energy that we can't always do, so.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And I will tell you, while I love our faculty and staff, I come to work every day for our students. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Jorge Islas Martinez. I'm the coordinator of the ESL program of the Whitewater School District. And I just want to say thank you. This is a comment also that the students from the university comes to the ESL program and help us to teach others to learn how to speak English. Thank you.
Bravo, bravo.
Proud alum of UW Whitewater, class of 1973. When I attended there, we had about 9,000, close to 10,000 students then. So over the years, it's up and down a little bit, but it hasn't changed dramatically. What is the importance of keeping that enrollment higher, going up to 13,000? A lot of universities cap some smaller colleges at 3,000 or so and really hold the numbers down. Why is it important that we grow?
Yeah, that's a good point. So our growth has to be strategic in two spaces. One is that the university has grown in terms of its academic colleges and disciplines and the buildings and the classrooms. And so our capacity is at 13,000. So if we want to be good stewards of what we have built on campus, 13,000 is where we should be to hold that capacity. The 10,000 FTE is what we need in order to meet our budget. So when I first came to the institution, right before I came, we were at a $13 million budget structural deficit. But because of our enrollment growth and our commitment to retention and other strategic things that we've done, that number went from 13 million to this fiscal year, it is under $500,000.
Can you think of some ways where the impact and what was learned by the university during the COVID pandemic has a lasting influence on the university now? Changes that are kind of being built into it that may not have been there the same way or never have been thought about 10 years ago, but now it's in the works.
Yeah, wow, that's a great question. For the sake of being transparent and authentic, I will say one thing COVID taught higher education is how to move from getting things done in 10 years to getting things done in 5 years. So it taught us to be a little bit faster in terms of how we respond to issues. You know, I think for us it's been technology, how we use online, right? Our learning space, even with our faculty and staff, and how we determine what's in person and what's remote. We've learned those spaces as well. But I think the greatest lesson is, and this may sound a little corny, but the greatest lesson is we realize that we miss each other. We missed each other. That this past year, our students, faculty, and staff have been more engaged in our campus than they have in the last several years because of COVID. People are excited to come back. They're excited to hug, shake hands, be together in safe spaces, of course, but that in person is really what's committed to UW-Whitewater. And I would say we have learned how to navigate technology online and all of those things that we can advance and understand those technologies. But most of all, we've learned that it's good to be in spaces where we see each other, we interact with each other, there's a sense of belonging, and we care for each other.
Hi, first, thank you for all you do for us students. I had a question. Are all of the 98.4% of those students that you listed that were employed or in graduate school, are they employed in their field, or is that just general employment?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the majority of them are employed in their specific field. We are excited about that fact. So I'll just leave it at that. Yes, the majority of them are employed in their specific fields or majors. Whether they stay there or not, that's another question.
Hi. Last year, you reported that the Community Engagement Center was having a financial situation, and you offered it to anybody to be your partner. This year, I've had an opportunity to have like 3 or 4 events in that space. It's a wonderful event space for us. Where are you standing with that financially and keeping it alive?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that I inherited as coming in as chancellor. I will say that space is costing us almost $500,000 a year, and we're just not meeting what it needs in terms of the revenue. So the university has decided, when our lease is up in 2026, that we will end our relationship with that space. It is our hope with our UW, our Whitewater Foundation real estate group, that they will help us to identify opportunities. I know we're having conversations in other spaces about some things that may happen there, but as far as the university is concerned, we will end our lease in 2026.
If the renovation is approved by the State Building Commission, do you have an estimate on when ground will break for the Winter Heidi project?
Yeah, we got a plan. Yes. So right now we are planning for initial movements to happen at the end of 2025, at the end of the fall semester, with some initial movements, and then most of the other movements will happen by the summer of 2026. So it is our hope at that point that we will begin to break ground. And so we do have enough space in our current campus capacity to house the College of Education Professional Studies and other spaces. We're going to do that strategically. About 2 months ago, we had a meeting of about 60 university officials in a room, along with our shared governance groups, to talk about what it looks like for the spaces and how we make sure of 3 things. One, we have to make sure that we have our faculty in the spaces where they can continue to teach and the modalities in which they can deliver their curriculum. Number 2, we got to make sure that our students have the spaces where they can continue to be successful. And number 3, we got to make sure that we have the dollars that we need in order to begin the renovation on time, and hopefully that'll happen tomorrow.
In recent years, many branch campuses in the UW system have closed. How committed is the administration to focusing on the Rock County campus?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I'm going to share, I think, let me share my perspective in this space, and then people can respond. So I don't see the Rock County campus as a branch campus. It has its own college. It is actually the College of Integrated Sciences. We have an academic dean with faculty on that campus. So we can use the word branch, but it actually has its own college, right? And so for me, that makes it very unique to the other campuses around the system. Tricia Clayson is our academic dean on that college, on that campus, and there are faculty, department chairs, and so it has its own ecosystem, just like our College of Business and Economics or our College of Education and Professional Studies. So that's number 1. Number 2, it is vibrant. Our enrollment is growing, 700 plus. Our goal is to get to 800 plus. We believe we will be there by 2028. We're adding new programs in the space. We have a nursing program that's a collaboration with Edgewood College. But we invested dollars in working with the county that we now have a nursing lab on that campus. So there's now a lab fully open and running. We have seen as a result of our work in that space, our numbers go to from 13 nursing majors to now 88 nursing majors. We also have gotten initial approval from the Board of Regents to do a Bachelor's of Medical Sciences that will focus on radiology, diagnostic medicine, and sonography. And so we are really pushing the envelope in terms of our commitment. And we're also building our dual enrollment program on the campus. Our commitment to that campus and that college is really focused around affordability, access, and workforce development. And as long as I'm chancellor here, unless the legislature do something very different than what I'm thinking, we're going to stay open and vibrant.
Are there any updates on the Esker renovation project?
Esker renovation. The students are asking questions because they know, yeah, we have an update on Esker. So Esker is probably going to be a $60 million plus project. So Esker Hall is one of our dining halls that is in need of some important renovations. So number one, it's no longer going to be Esker Dining Hall. It's going to be Esker Hall. Because it will house dining and other programs and activities. And so one of the programs and activities we're talking about is esports, right, and other things. So we want Esker Hall, number one, to continue to provide the quality of food there, and it still will be an all-you-can-eat eatery, which is good for some people, but definitely not good for me, because when I go there, I spend too much time in Esker Hall with the food. But the other part of it is going to be programmatic and activities for students. So the goal with 60 million plus that we require is to begin to socialize the Esker Hall concept at the Rotunda. The research in Rotunda, we're going to begin to have conversations with the legislature about our ideas in that space. And we're also going to have coffee at the Capitol where we'll share that information as well. Typically, those projects are somewhere between 7 to 10 years out. So, yep. We'll be here until 10 o'clock.
I was just wondering, I might have missed this, but numbers of foreign students that are on campus, has it been up, down? What is the status, given, I guess, the attitude of the incoming administration in Washington? There's been a lot of concern about kids who are, not all kids, but students who are coming from foreign countries.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so the university, we are committed to having international students on our campus. We believe that having international students on our campus is not only important to our academic mission, but it's also important to our ability of inclusivity and inclusive education. And so we welcome that. We have put together what we call a global education package related to that space. We're in the process right now of hiring a director of global education. We need to enhance not only the international students that are coming to our campus, but study abroad and other opportunities like that. So we are committed to that space at this point. And we are, to me, that's the track we're headed until we hear otherwise. But that's the space we're in, and we're committed, and our faculty are committed to that space as well.
What numbers do you have right now?
So the numbers that I have right now, well, I would share percentages. So right now, what we consider to be, let's go down to the main category. So our African American Black students on our campus is about 5.2%. Hispanic Latino is at 10%. Our white Caucasian students are at 77.7%. Students who are in other ethnicities, international, Other ethnicities will do that at 5.6%, and then those students who haven't identified is at 1.5%. And so that's how we report our numbers. I was going down and she raised her hand. There you go.
I have one more question.
There
and
you
that
go.
is, what are your two biggest challenges?
Oh my gosh. I'm not stumped because they're challenges. I'm stumped you said two, right? So I got to think of that. I would say our first challenge, of course, is funding. We need more money, right? Our president, Jay Rothman, has put together with the Board of Regents a bold ask of $855 million in the next biennium. We need every cent of that. That is important. And more importantly, UW-Whitewater, we need our fair share of that GPR dollars. We need that. We deserve that, and that's important for us, and we're going to be committed to that. So that's number one. That keeps me up at night. I would say number two is related not to our students, also our faculty and staff, but the mental health of our students, as well as faculty and staff, but specifically our students, keeps me up at night. I want to make sure that our students, they do well academically, helping our students with the finances. We're learning all of that. Those are important to our academic support, but students in a space of well-being, being able to take care of themselves and us being there to help care for them, to me, that's the most important thing. Because when students don't feel or believe that they belong, then that's when we begin to see trouble. So those are the two challenges I think I would say is one is funding and number two is mental health.
As long as we're talking about challenges, where do you stand in terms of the separation of the University of Madison from the rest of the state universities?
That's a great question. So I'm going to give the chancellor answer to that question. And the chancellor's answer is, I think the current makeup of the universities of Wisconsin is strong. We are strong together. Madison is a strong a part of that. We need each other in order to build on each other. As you heard through all of the presentation, there are things that we do well that Madison can learn from, and there are things that Madison does well that we can learn from. So I think the separation is not a space we want to be in. For me, ultimately, all the work that we do in that space has to go to the Wisconsin idea. That we're more than just graduating students, but we are creating an environment where we are having economic impact, that we are solving problems, that we are moving forward in terms of critical thinking. So in terms of what I believe, to me, us working together is better than us being separated.
That was very diplomatic.
But it came from the heart. It came from the heart. Yeah, and I use the term, and again, it's where you are. We always say Madison is the flagship, right? People say this is the flagship university. I don't think of it as a flagship university in terms of the word flagship, because I think about the talents. So number one, again, UW-Whitewater, we are the flagship when it comes to business. We are the flagship when it comes to education. Right? And I mean that talent-wise. So we do recognize Madison as the mothership, and we lean into that, but there are other institutions that are doing some great things, and we all need to be a part of sharing our talents and what we can do to help the universities of Wisconsin. I got to stop after that, right? Come on. Oh, I got another question.
One more. I have one last question.
Yes.
When you were talking about needing more funding for the university, how does our school compare in funding received to other universities in the system?
Yeah, so of the 13, we are in the bottom 3, right? That's a shameful place to be, especially when you heard the amazing things that we're doing. So while we are finding ways to do what we need to do with what we have, It is painful for our faculty and our staff and our students. And so if we're doing that, if you see the amazing things that we're doing now with what the little we have, just imagine what it can look like once we get the funding that is important to have for UW-Whitewater to live our mission and to lean into the Wisconsin idea. So, that wasn't political, that was from the heart. That was from the heart.